Hey, everybody, I'm Michael.
And I'm Charles.
Boy, do we have an episode for you today.
Oh, yeah. It's a real good
This is a humdinger. This
it's
is a great
humdinger.
This is a great way to start off 2026. I had reached out to Jeff Churchill from Jitterbug Boy Shoes, and I had seen this man's list of credits, Charles. And
I think he's one of the busiest guys in Hollywood.
Honestly,
Like, his credits are insane.
it's in the show notes right now if you want to skip right to it. It would be a nice thing to do so you understand the depth and breadth of this man's work.
Yeah.
I'm still rhyming. I rhymed a lot through
You
this
did.
episode.
Yeah,
didn't
you
I?
did.
And he said yes when I had reached out. So we are very proud and very excited.
That's the name of the episode. He said yes.
He said yes. Jitterbug Boy said
These
yes.
boots were made for walking.
We walk through cinema on this episode so gracefully with so much backstory. You're going to find out so many things that Jeff has been a part of, how he got into shoes, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like
His origin story, I make the joke, you'll hear it, but it's just so true, is his biopic, when they make it's going to be fucking awesome.
it is. And it starts on a farm, like Superman.
That's right.
And we talked to him about making Superman's boots.
Yep.
Like
That's right.
The stories that there's a Tom Cruise story, there is a Hugh Jackman story,
Yeah.
there is a Wicked story, there's a Jojo Rabbit story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We have a bookend.
That's right.
It's a beautiful. We found a bookend.
We found a bookend in this episode. Honestly, yeah, you guys are in for a real treat. Think of any movie in the last 20 years, and he's probably done the boots or the shoes for it, and it is pretty awesome.
Charles, we have decided on a new trivia night. It's now a themed trivia that we're doing. Tickets are on sale right motherfucking now. If Charles could be friends with these people, if these characters were real life people, Charles would be friends with them. Charles, what
In
trivia?
secret.
I think you'd be proud.
No, I'd probably be, yeah. No, I'm really excited. It's kind of becoming a debaters trivia tradition.
This is 2 years in a row.
That's right. So we're going to be doing It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia trivia.
Number 2.
On Yes, this is number 2 on March 17th, which is actual St. Patrick's Day.
Doing it proper.
And for anybody that went to the It's Always Sunny trivia last year, it is different. I'm
Right
giving
from
you
the
guys
ground up.
a little bit of a different experience with this one, something new we're testing on our trivia. We're going to have a little bit of audience participation as well as maybe a video clip round. So
we're expanding into more Jeopardy-like format.
that's right, and it could be chaos. So we thought It's Always Sunny is the perfect one to test it out with.
Agreed.
But yeah, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia trivia, St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. The Handsome Daughter. Registration starts at 7.
Yep.
We start at 7:30.
Yep.
4 rounds of chaos. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And if you've never been to a Trivia Plus night, it's popular to do things in Winnipeg other than just trivia. I think other people have figured that out by maybe coming to one of ours. I won't mention who that is, but we like to offer a thing called Trivia Plus. It's like Disney Plus, right? Where you've got Disney Plus other stuff. Well, we've got Trivia Plus other things. We like to celebrate fandom by including a coloring contest of said characters from said theme. So it will be an Always Sunny in Philadelphia coloring contest. We'll provide the sheets, we'll provide the crayons, you just provide the chaos and the wild card aspect. And I think it kind of is all going to come. See, I'm
There
watching
you
it
go.
more now. I told Sean, I said we got 40 days. I'm going to put more of it in my diet.
Those 2 episodes, I'm going to get you. I'm going to write them down for you. If you're going to watch any, watch those because you'll appreciate them.
And then also a cosplay challenge.
Yes. We had some great.
We did.
Somebody last year actually had Charlie's exact track suit jacket and shirt.
You dressed up as
Green Man will be making an appearance most likely. I was Green Man last year. And again, we're gonna give you out a prize for best coloring. We're gonna give you a prize for best cosplay. So please dress up and make them deep cuts. You know, we love that shit.
I'm remembering right now that I still have to send Kate hers from Gilmore Girls.
There you go.
Thanks for reminding me. You get and for winning trivia, a week late, you will get a gift certificate from me. It's been a week. I completely forgot. I'm so sorry, Kate. If you're listening, you know I sent you a message.
She's getting them.
She's getting them. We do give them. The first time we gave them, they were expired. If you were ever at that one.
Oh, that was our favorite running joke.
Yeah.
It was we bought them during COVID.
We did. So
and
nothing was printed.
Right. So clearly they did expire during COVID when theaters were closed. But yeah, that was great. It was just we gave it to them and we were so excited. Does anybody have any questions for us about the podcast or anything? And then that person comes up. So the tickets say they're expired, and everyone just had a great fucking laugh about
That's what happens when you're learning how to host a live event. You should check the date of expiry on your products and prizes.
But yeah, if you guys love trivia, if you love It's Always Sunny, and honestly, even if you don't care for It's Always Sunny or whatnot, but you want to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, it's going to be a St. Patrick's Day party.
Yeah.
We're just happening to be doing trivia, and people are dressed up.
Like, come dressed in green if you don't want to dress up on the show.
That's right.
There's going to be themed cocktails. We might have milk something.
So we're working on it right now,
steak.
but we're thinking that Fight Milk and Riot Juice might be two drinks that we'll have as drink specials.
Yeah.
And again, those of you that know the show, those are some great options for you. So
$15 a ticket on sale right now, therealdebaters.ca. You can go to do this, which is going to make me update the website as soon as we're done talking. You can go to Eventbrite, go to our social media. Go to our Instagram, go to our Facebook. You can buy the tickets there right now. These sell out. We have limited seating. It's a rush seating style. It's a friendly environment. You're going to be surrounded by other people.
That's right.
Who like the same
You're
shit
a degenerate. We're going to all be degenerates for a night.
Degens
so just
all night long.
Just come be with your crew. Come be with the gang.
Yeah.
Come be with the gang. Spend a night with the gang.
The gang gets degenerate.
That's right.
At the Handsome Daughter.
We're going to have our own version of Charlie McDennis, so just make sure to just come out. It's going to be a great time. It was a lot of fun last year. It's going to be even better this year.
Gilmore Girls was a blast to start
That was
the year.
a lot of fun. It was so good, it almost made me feel like I had to watch the show. So.
I give more of a shit now. And like to everyone who attended, we appreciated the fact that the first question out of Emily's mouth was called out in question.
Holy fuck, was that funny.
I knew right then and there that we were in for a treat.
That was so funny.
Excuse me, you've got it wrong, and we're one of 55
The best group to be
there.
wrong with, though.
Yeah.
They're very supportive.
Totally. Totally. And we had a lot of Lukes and a lot of fun.
We had a table of Lukes.
We did.
We had a full table of Lukes.
Lukes with apostrophe was their team name.
Luke without the apostrophe.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Yeah, Luke,
this is why I don't do the
Luke
spelling.
without the apostrophe, so it was just very
Listener,
Lukes.
we're rambling. Point is, come to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Trivia Plus night, March 17th. Tickets are on sale right now. Come have fun. Come celebrate fandom.
We'll see you there, bitches.
We'll see you there, bitches. Now to one Jeff Churchill and a lovely story about the shoes that defined him.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome, everyone. The official space section of the charter.
What's the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Sir, you're out of order.
Out of order. I show you out of order.
Jeff, thank you for getting back to me. First of all, I'm sure you get a lot of requests to do this because your work spans so many different mediums, so many different styles and genres that I'm sure, like, just a shoe addict wants to talk to you. Never mind somebody who loves the film industry and the costuming aspect of characters. So. I'm so happy you said yes. And from one Canadian to another, we love it when Canada shines on the world stage.
Yeah. No, thanks for taking interest. It's always nice when people are interested in what we do, because on a day-to-day basis, we're just doing our thing here. So the fact that it resonates with other people actually means a big deal to me.
Well,
and the fact that there's another Canadian bunch is kind of cool.
I'll tell you a short story. I said this to him. This was my pitch to him. I said I went to Paisley Park in Minneapolis. I went to Prince's compound.
Yeah.
And did the whole tour. And me and Shauna were like, we're going for the shoes. Like, everything else is cool, but we're going for the shoes. And the shoe room is like, it's a spectacle. You walk in and have you seen it, Jeff?
No, I've never have.
Oh, my word. Okay, so you walk in and there's a glass piano and it's a glass cabinet, and all of a sudden he kicks on. It's like a medley of all of his songs.
It's awesome.
All of the cabinets start to light up. The piano starts to light up. There's like 5 screens on the wall. He's making shoes with his guys. He learned how to do it.
What?
You see all the patterns. You see his custom stuff.
So cool.
And you're just like, I don't want to leave this room. Like this is the tour alone.
Yeah.
And I'd been a shoe guy before. I was never like, those shoe hawks online who like to trade Nike and stuff like that. But like shoes are shoes, right? Forrest Gump, as one might say. Do a lot Bob Parsons shoes where they're going.
Yeah, shoes are like one thing I think everybody can appreciate. I think there's everybody that has that one shoe that has stood out, even if they didn't own it. It's just like something like, I remember, I wasn't a very sports athletic person, but I love Converse. I love sneakers, like the Jordans. I got it. Like I was like, hey, I get that hype and everything. Yeah, it's true. It's one thing everybody can relate to as well. We all need a good pair. Wear them. We all love them, and for whatever reason, for comfort or for look or for whatever. Yeah, totally.
And in that, I was like, okay, you can't have a costume without the shoes. You can't have the shoes without the costume. There's such a relationship there that we're looking forward to talking to you about. But before we get into it, you've done so many superhero movies, so I'm sure you understand a good origin story. Yeah. We like a good origin story here because as much as it's about the work, it's about the journey. So I think your story kind of comes in 2 parts. Like, did you start in the theater not in shoes and then kind of work your way in? Am I right on that, or correct me if I'm wrong? Very much. Like my dream, like I've worked in theater since I was a kid. I think since I was like 14 or 15, and really fell in love with it at an early age. And my goal forever was to become a designer. Originally lighting, and then that went into more set and costume design. And I worked really, really hard for that end goal. And, to get to that, did a ton of different work in theater between like carpentry and costumes and welding and driving trucks and doing lighting and sound and a little bit of everything. Eventually got to a point where I kind of felt comfortable to get into the design stuff and kind of realized that actually, no, this isn't what I want to be doing. So it was like spending a good 10 plus years going, this is where I'm heading to, and then getting into it and going, oh man. And at that point, so I was like in my mid-20s, took a step away from theater, went to work on a farm. What'd you farm? I got to stop you there. What'd you farm? Greens. It was organic greens. It was just in the middle of nowhere. I kind of hit this point where it's like, okay, what I wanted to do with my life wasn't it. There was a lot of other kind of messy things in my life anyway, and then just kind of took 6 months and worked on a farm, figuring I would try to figure out my life. I mean, it's a great place. My partner, I'm with a farmer's daughter, and it's a big grain farm, and I do understand the solitude of going and finding oneself in a field and just figuring out your shit. Yeah, no, it was really good. It was really good for me at the time. And then, like, out of nowhere, I got a call from, like, this is probably 98, 99. The good old days. Yeah, good old days. So prior, like, what I was saying, I was kind of bouncing around doing a lot of different things. One of the things I did back, like, mid-90s, late 90s was working in the costume department of the Canadian Opera Company here in Toronto. Okay. And started, like, was kind of a general assistant person, but really kind of gravitated towards the more, like, proppy type, like, effects costumes, I call them now, but in those days, like, masks and headgear and wings and that type of thing. Anyway, fast forward a few years, I'm working on this farm trying to figure out my shit. Get a call out of nowhere from somebody I worked with at the opera who is actually in charge of setting up the costume department for The Lion King, which was the first time coming to Toronto. Okay, that's the big Broadway one, right? Yeah. Wow.
And uh she had somebody set up to take care of the shoes. It ended up falling through. She needed somebody, and she called me. She's like, I know you haven't done shoes before, but I know you have a prop costume sensibility. You've done a bunch of stuff. If you're willing to come into this, we'll train you. We'll bring in somebody who'll train you once a week, and I feel you can do it. And at that point, after working on a farm,
Yeah.
I was really, really poor, and
Yeah.
was living outside Toronto. And I was like, it was a 6-month contract or whatever. It's like, yeah, if it means I can pay rent for the next 6 months, I will do it. And then got into it and was introduced to kind of the process of shoes, and suddenly realized like it was kind of a culmination of all these little bits and pieces I'd done with the other gigs in theater. So there was a lot of props work. There was a fair bit of carpentry, woodworking, sculpting, some welding and metal work, or more metal work than welding, but obviously a lot of costume because it's something being worn. And as soon as I kind of got introduced to the shoes, I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting, because it really does take like I was kind of building up an internal portfolio so that I would be able to design eventually. And when I realized that's not what I want to do, I literally fell into this gig. And as soon as I started doing it, it's like, oh, this is really cool. This is very much little bits. And it was kind of my favorite bits of all these different things that I did coming together. And that's what got me really interested in shoes. And and then I worked for a different company. I worked for Mervish Productions in Toronto, went out to work for Stratford, and started getting a bit of a basis in shoes, and then ran off and joined the circus, and literally, and
yeah. So did you know we've got a guy who ran off and literally joined the circus?
No way, like for reals?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
yeah. I took a couple of years break from my starting of shoe stuff, and out of the blue, got offered a job with Cirque du Soleil going on tour.
Whoa.
And they were looking for a craftsperson in the wardrobe to look after masks and shoes and that type of thing.
Right.
And so I interviewed that, got the job, flew off to
Montreal,
Dallas, Texas. I
Oh,
joined the
wow.
tour and spent 2 years. Eventually became the head of wardrobe for that tour after my first year. Wow. And yeah, kind of did mostly North America. I left the tour in Tokyo, and
Wow.
and then went back into shoes in a very weird way. But yeah,
It's so crazy how shoes is like, it's shoes, right? It's things we put on our feet every day, right?
Yeah.
They kind of get boring after a while, your everyday pair. And you've seen every aspect of the world in between, and had a chance to run off and join the circus by something that is so forgotten about,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, you can make so special. I have a little bit of experience with circus shoes.
Oh.
Yeah. My uncle is a Shriner.
Oh.
And was the guy. I don't think I've ever talked about this on the show before. He drove the clown car that all the clowns
Get
got
out of here.
Yeah, 100%.
That's hilarious.
that's great.
The whole
Yeah.
like one clown, two clown,
What
12
a cool
clowns
gig.
later.
Yeah.
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 So like I used to get to hang out when the circus came to town. And I can tell you that clowns drink. It's not a rumor.
Yeah,
It's a fucking fact.
Yeah.
And I'd hang around with a bunch of drunk Shriners, all
That's
dressed
so
in
funny.
with patches and balloons and.
Is the Shrine Circus still a thing?
I don't think so.
No, because that was, I remember going as a kid and I'd never seen something. It was unbelievable.
And like the circus he did was like, there was no animals, so there was no
right.
problems.
Right.
Shriners, on the other hand,
Oh, yeah, that was a big issue for
I think
sure.
there was some problems.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Not surprised.
What tour for Cirque were you on?
Allegria.
Wow.
I wish that meant something. What's the story on that?
It was one of the original Cirque shows. So like when I was on it, it hit the 10-year anniversary. So that was kind of
Okay.
one of the
Early
one of the
days.
original tours that really
Wow.
like I remember sitting in God, I must have been in university, sitting in Popper's Pub in the Annex in Toronto because I lived right around the corner.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I remember seeing something on the TV, which was this. It was my first time I'd ever heard of Cirque, I was like, what the hell is this? It was this big thing that this show Allegria was coming to Toronto. It just opened. And I was like, oh man, I want to work on something like this someday. And then 10 years later, I was actually working on it by some weird.
How surreal is that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty surreal. I've had a lot of luck. I will freely admit I've had a lucky life. I've had not an easy life, but I've had a lot of luck that's come through.
I have a theory
awesome.
on that, where like I think you went and chose to eat shit for a minute, and I think you upped your luck power.
I think I think also too. I think you from just hearing a little bit from what you told us, it's just you seized an opportunity. You know, like I love that mindset. When I was living in, I can't relate.
He lived in Toronto too.
When I lived there, I was trying to do the acting and the comedy thing and whatnot, and I can really relate to I can pay rent for the next 6 months. Yeah, you know, like it's it's that opportunity, and you know, you can't control getting like people offering you the opportunity, but the fact that you seized it, and even hearing that like just knowing how, like, seeing all your credits. And hearing that when you got offered Lion King, it was like, I know you haven't done shoes before.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, oh, what a great, like, if I was doing your biopic, that line's staying in the movie.
Yeah.
Because man, oh man, will you see
Where are
what
we
I
going
do?
from here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No,
will you see?
Yeah, and it's a trajectory I never would have imagined, and it's led to what I'm doing now, which is kind of cool, I think.
Very cool.
Okay,
very,
It's
very
certainly
cool.
never where I imagined.
It's a bookend.
It's
as
a-
we
it's
like,
a-
as
we
we
like a
appreciate,
bookend.
as we appreciate. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good old Seth
Yeah.
Rogen book.
Yeah, it's a good bookend. Yeah.
Those early days, like it seems that, like, because you started in costuming, which I think is the gateway to like you've fine-tuned your skills into a genre of costume making, right? You're the boots now, and you're the shoes. You're that guy, literally. And I wonder what those early days were like for you. Like, what part of the process did you find just kind of maybe like you were a savant with, right? Like it just came naturally to you, because I don't believe it's all luck.
That you know, part of it was the early days when I first got introduced and realized that there were so many cool things that I had done in my life that kind of come together. But I think the real it's kind of a funny story, but I think the real, like, trial by fire thing was, which actually made me realize that I can do this, was you know, I spent 2 years with Cirque, was getting a little bit bored because, you know, being head of wardrobe, you do a lot of coordinating, sitting at the computer, looking forward to the next city, and
You're managing.
and yeah, and I was really craving doing the hands-on stuff, being creative. And what happened was I took Allegria to Japan. I was supposed to switch with the head of wardrobe from another tour in Australia, blah, blah, blah. So we decided that's what it went. And then by the time I got to Tokyo, it's like, no, I need to do something. Actually, it was before the tour was actually in Toronto, of all places. And we were prepping for Tokyo. And I was like, I need to do something. I need to do something more hands-on, more creative again. And so I ended up resigning from Cirque with the agreement that I would stick on for however many months to do the Tokyo install. And then instead of going to Australia, I would be done. And about 5 days after that happened, I got another call out of the blue from a company in Belgium who were setting up for a big show in Las Vegas called Le Rêve, which no longer exists. But they were setting up their shop, kind of like what happened with Lion King, but about 10 times the size, where it's like, yeah, I just came across your name. I'm looking for a shoe person to do this big underwater circus show in Vegas. Would you be interested? And I'm like, Jesus, I don't know, maybe. So I finished it was during the transition from Toronto to Japan. I ended up going to Belgium to meet with these people and talk and blah, blah, blah. Went to Tokyo to finish the tour, got offered the job in Belgium. And
Globetrotter.
That's so cool.
yeah, it went from Tokyo to La Louvière, Belgium.
Wow.
Got essentially where they thought I was this big shoe person who could like do all this crazy ass underwater circus shit. And I got there going, I have no idea what I'm doing. But as soon as I start digging into it and seeing the problems and going, oh, what if we tried that? What if we did that? And that was the first time when it was not only was it really interesting because it encapsulated so many things that I did, it's like, oh, I think I'm actually have the right mindset for this type of thing. And like as far as shoemaking goes, I'm totally self-taught. I've never been trained other than working with people who knew more than I did, but I never went to school or anything like that.
Okay, stop there. What, like, how, like, man, you really need a biopic. Like, these things you're saying, okay, then what is it that makes, what do you think the thing about, what is it? I don't understand that. Like, I'm mind blown that you didn't study under someone. Like, Daniel Day-Lewis took off to study under someone and killed acting altogether. And you're like, yeah, Daniel, if you just called me.
Well, when I first got hired onto that gig on Lion King where I knew nothing, they ended up bringing an experienced shoemaker in who didn't want to do the whole gig, but once a week, and he would kind of show me the basics. His name was Fred Mike Comrie, and he would come in once a week, just kind of show me the basics. And we probably did that for like maybe a year, probably a little less, but it introduced me to kind of the basics. And then from there, once I spent a couple of years doing Mervish and doing those shoes, and then going to Stratford where I worked with a few more experienced shoemakers and kind of gleaned a little bit from them. But I've always kind of approached everything from, like, how I'll describe it is the prop mentality. Like, I don't know how many props people you know, but the thing
a few actually from the show. Yeah, we've done it before.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, the thing I love about props is you have to do this with whatever you have on hand, and you do it. And that's very much how I approach shoes. So rather than, how would I say it? Rather than going through like the traditional way of shoemaking and then having to pivot to figure out how to make all this weird and wacky shit, I instead just go, okay, the problem is the weird and wacky shit. How do I find a solution based on my shoe knowledge, based on everything else? So that is kind of what led me into doing what I do, because I never got hung up on the what's right and what's wrong. I learned a bit about it and then kind of figured out the best way of doing it, but not being like beholden to the right way, in quotes. It's more about how do I get this done? So, because, you're never going to flip through a book of traditional shoemaking and find a chapter on how to make hooves for a 6-foot-tall alien in Star Trek. You've got to figure that shit out.
That's awesome. That is so, you know what? And it's funny, like as you were saying it, I'm like, yeah, like really prop masters and whatnot, you're kind of just problem solvers. And it's also too, what you said is like, you also have to you use the resources you have, and that's where you're using your knowledge, right? Is all of that. And like I told these guys during COVID, I worked on a couple Hallmark movies that were being filmed here as a COVID compliance officer or whatever, but the people that I gravitated to and spend the most time with were all the prop guys. Like one of the coolest jobs I've ever seen, and really what it was is, like they have, you have a ton of shit, but it's really like knowing, okay, I don't know when I'm going to use all of this, but you're going to probably use it at some point. And that was the coolest thing, was the director would come, they'd have something all done, and he'd be like, yeah, I don't like that door. I just don't like it, or I don't like this light fixture. And it's like, you're not in a position, you're not in a no. That's what they told me. You're not in the business of no, you're in the business of, okay, I'll figure it out. That's literally, and it sounds like that gives you so much more training and experience than reading it on a book. Or not that there's nothing wrong with that, but what I'm saying is I always compare it to like driving a car. I can read all the books in the world about how to drive a car, but really you're not really going to know how to do it until you're actually behind the wheel.
Step one.
You're doing it. Right.
Yeah.
Step two.
Yeah. Totally. Totally.
And it sounds like that in the industry you're in, like that's also, I think, why you're so good at it, and it sounds like fun. Like, it sounds like, how can it not just be the coolest thing, and then to know in the back of your head, even if you're humble bragging to yourself, to be like, I figured that out.
And they don't know that it's some odd shit from under my desk that I've had for 4 years.
Yeah.
And there are certainly fun aspects. There are very not fun aspects as well, but it is. And even like there will be projects where I end up like losing shitloads of money trying to figure something out that just doesn't work or whatever. But I always find that I'm reaching into that back pocket at some point, like 5 years down the road, and going, oh, wait, what I did on this could actually work on this if I change this a little bit, or even learning from that failure, I can maybe make it a success this time. And it's like that every time, because we're always doing weird shit. We're not ever doing anything normal.
I don't know if you've ever seen anything on Orson Welles, but he accredits it to sheer ignorance that because he didn't know, because he didn't study. And I respect that, because what we do here, I didn't know. I bought a car before I had my actual license. That's a true story. So I bought a podcast mixing board and all the software and all the bells and whistles before I knew how to cut 2 clips. So I always like I like the Maverick, dig in, figure it out. Yes, okay, all right, we'll solve that. Like just go with it. And I think that's something to your success is your ability to be like, well, we'll figure it out instead of no.
Yeah, well, when you come in from like left field, nobody's telling you no. You're just going, okay, how do I figure this out? Like, how do I do this? It's not your mentor or whatever saying, no, you can't do that. That's wrong or whatever. It's just like, okay. And like, obviously, like I make a bit light of it because there is a lot of technical shit that I've had to figure out. But again, I've figured that out not from books or whatever. I've learned from, people aren't comfortable in this. How do I make them more comfortable? Okay, this and that. Yeah. So yeah.
I imagine you have a process, but that process isn't easily traced to every project. So at the base of what you do, how do you start to approach a shoe or a boot or a sandal or a slipper?
The kind of what you said, the process kind of changes every time depending on so many different factors, depending on the designer, depending on the type of show, the technical requirements, all of that type of stuff. Usually like big picture, I'll get contacted by a designer, a supervisor or whatever saying, we need to do this. And so I will find out what's necessary. What are you looking at? What does it need to do? What does it need to look like, obviously?
Can I interrupt you and give you a scenario that we could do this through? Because we share a friend who's done the show a couple times, and her name's Patty Henderson.
Oh, nice.
And another Canadian designer from BC. And she did With Love that was filmed here. So take us through how that would have worked, because we love to showcase Manitoba film and stuff that's made here. And I also know you did Little House on the Prairie that was filmed here last year, which I also, my day job is I'm a construction film vendor. So I work in tandem with film. So we worked on that show, but so how do you and Patty work on the shoe wear for With Love, let's say?
Well, yeah, it was funny because it was totally out of nowhere where it's like, okay, she needs this pair of shoes, and there was a certain aesthetic to it, but the big kind of the big picture thing was recreating, and I'm totally blanking on the original Kung Fu film, of that reaching into the shoe, there's a blade that attaches to the knife thing. God, I can picture the scene.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah.
But that was kind of where it all started. And it's like, yeah, we have an idea. And in fact, that was before the actor was even cast. So they had an idea of
that was before Key was cast
to look like. Yeah. But designs will always tweak depending on who's wearing the costume. So it all started with that, in that they wanted it to kind of look, contemporary, kind of military running shoe type of thing. But it wasn't until casting came in where there was like the full design that Patty gave me. So it all started with
I believe the movie might be Avenging Eagle from 1978 that you were
that.
referencing.
That sounds right, and it's quite hilarious.
Oh, we've got a
Wow.
I
picture.
actually have the original knife right, literally.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, so like in that case, before there was even casting, I started working with the props department of, okay, how are we going to make this work? And they actually sent me this, and the shape of the blade and everything changed since then. But they sent me this so I could start prototyping of going, okay, we need to figure out a way that there's going to be like it's all the technical stuff. Like, how is the movement going to be where you can make a clean swoop out of a shoe of this
Watch
thing
yourself.
coming? And then we were, it started with that, and then once the casting was in place and the design was done, then it's like, okay, how do we incorporate the aesthetics with all of this? And so it is like the funny thing with shoes, it's always a balance of the technical and the aesthetic and the comfort. Like, it's probably those three things always work in tandem with each other.
That's a Venn diagram.
Yeah, very much so, where it is like the aesthetic, the the actor, the comfort, the being able to do it, and the technical requirements.
I was going to say, where is the actor on that list?
Really, really important, actually. Important as the aesthetic, because you go from like with Love or even like the Mission Impossible things, the actor is way up there, but it is still the same thing. They need to look a certain way. The actor needs to be comfortable and to be able to do the technical requirements of it. So it really is, kind of three ways. I often say it to designers where, we might be developing something and it's like, well, the look might not be exactly what I imagine. It's like, let's get it on to somebody's foot anyway, because if we know it's going to work on their feet, we're 65% of the way. The aesthetic is the easy thing. If we know they're comfortable and they can run across Blackfriars Bridge in this, we can tweak the look of it to do whatever we want. So it really is that combination of, and that's what I love about shoes too. It's not just the look. There's so much technical aspects, because it always is, who is it, what did they need to do, what does it need to look like, in that order, because that's kind of the most challenging thing, is going, who is it and what do they need to do. Aesthetic is not easy, but comparatively easy, because if you have an actor who's comfortable, you can change the look to be whatever.
Wow. I mean, that totally makes sense, right? Because I was kind of thinking too, like, you mentioned Mission Impossible, so obviously we know, like, they're not like they're doing it with Tom Cruise. So something
Are
like
they?
that.
Is that Tom?
Do they just send you those measurements because they know, like, okay, we know Tom's like foot size and everything, so they can kind of send you that right away, kind of thing, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Often I will receive designs or measurements so I can start on stuff, designs, and then like we didn't do the last couple of Mission Impossibles, but we did 2 or 3 before that.
Nice.
And we
like 2 and 3, or just 6 and 5, or 1 and 4?
I think it was, what was it, Rogue Nation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's the
That's the Henry Cavill.
that was my favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Henry
That was
Cavill
my
arm
favorite
lock.
Mission Impossible. That's amazing.
The one at the opera where Rebecca Ferguson looked utterly gorgeous.
Yeah, she's got the
thing
dress.
together.
That's right, with the big. Yeah, that was great.
That was our first one.
That's awesome.
And the funny thing is, like, I was in fittings with Tom before there was any aesthetic, where it's just like, okay, we need to make sure he's going to be comfortable in something he can act in, walk in, run in, and jump in. So I showed up to the first fitting with 4 variations of a very simple boot with all of that, just to make sure he can do it. And as soon as he was happy, it's like, okay, we can make these technical things into whatever look.
Right.
And so, like, the thing that I love about, especially watching the Mission Impossible films, where there's like, I think it was actually the same film, like the opera scene where I think he's like sliding down St. Peter's Basilica.
Yeah.
I think it was probably about 5 or 6 different shoes, because he was very good at going, okay, I need a pair of shoes that can do this, and I need a pair of shoes that can do this. So we developed the same shoe, very purpose built, so that in the scenes where he's sliding down the outside the cathedral is very different on the ones where he's jumping, where the ones where he's like fighting in the catwalk with the flute player.
That's right. Yeah.
We're all identical shoes, but we're all very purpose built. I love like that, working with Tom on those shoes, and I absolutely love that, man.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Taught me a lot as well about the ultra purpose built, and he's somebody who can just say, I need this to happen for this stuff. And going, okay, I will figure out how that will be. And coming back and going, I have no idea how I'm going to do that, but then working through it.
Okay, so that's interesting because we see that he is so embedded in all aspects of making a movie, and you see it, and then you're like, really? Are we? But then I hear you say this, and he's working with the boots, so it's true because that is what he does, and I can't imagine what it's like working with someone who gives a shit about that small of a thing to the big stunt that he's going to do. He cares as much about the boots as he does about the stunt. That for you, I mean, is probably other level.
Yeah, no, it's really wild. I remember working on a different production altogether and having like somebody was driving me from the studio back to my flat in London, and he was previously Tom Cruise's driver on, I think it was between Mission Impossibles. And so we were just, chatting about him, and he's like, the thing about Tom is he cares passionately about every aspect about what he does, and he expects everybody else to as well. So if you do, he respects you. And that was very much my experience with him. Like, yeah. I do you remember I think it was Fallout.
Yeah.
Was the film during filming he broke his ankle?
Yeah,
the
so
jump,
I was
the big jump.
I was going to ask you about that
Yeah.
because I know, like, I remember Rumble in the Bronx is one of my favorite Jackie Chan movies, and similar in that he broke his foot and they had the slip-on sneaker sock thing. So I was actually going to ask, like, is that something that you had to make for him to like cover? Because he had a cast on right after that.
Yes. Well, it was funny because we were working on Fallout. Jeffrey Curlin is the designer who is lovely, and we're working on it, and literally I think that was a reasonably new costume what he was wearing in that sequence, and we sent off the boots, and it was literally the last thing we had to finish for the film. Sent it off, and then like 3 days later read in the news that he broke his ankle. So immediately the first thing I did was got in contact with the supervisor and going, that wasn't because of the shoes, right? And
Oh,
like, no,
God,
really
yeah.
and blah blah blah. But what ended up happening after that is he, of course, wanted to be back on film immediately. So I think it was
That
4 weeks
afternoon.
between the break and him filming again. And as a result, we were having to come up with things that he could wear with a cast, with a brace, with all of this stuff that was literally changing week to week to week. So here I thought we were all done with it. And then all of a sudden I was literally on a plane every week flying to London to fit him in the next thing while I was having my crew back here in Toronto, starting on what I thought would be best for the next stage of it. And so we were constantly like just doing a back and forth until he was back to it. And like, sorry, I'm gonna fanboy on Tom.
Please, we do it all the time.
Yeah, please do.
I grew to respect the man so much during this whole process, because there was one point where it wasn't long after the injury where we're kind of doing, in fact, I think it may have been the first time I was back. And anyway, Jeffrey and his team brought me out. We had this fitting set up with Tom at his trailer, got everything together, went over, waiting. Jeffrey gets a call on his cell phone going, actually, there's this, something just came up with one of the rigs for one of the stunts. So Tom,
Gotta go.
being producer and everything, isn't going to be able to make it to the fitting. We'll have to reschedule for another day. It's like, yeah, understandable, whatever. So I'm chatting with Jeffrey and Hannah, and outside of the trailer, and then this SUV with the black windows pulls up, and then it actually passes us and then backs up, and then the window comes down and it's Tom. And he's like, "Are you guys here for me?" It's like, "Yeah." Well, not me. Jeffrey was like, "Yeah, but we just got the call. We know you got you have to go deal with something else, so we'll rearrange." It's like, Jeff just came here from London for this? It's like, actually, no, he came here from Toronto for this. And he's like, "Fuck that. I'm coming in." And he got out of his car. He's like, "Trust me, they'll wait for me." And we just came in and spent an hour going through like everything. And he's like, "Yeah, you," and he literally was like, "You all put in this much effort so that I will be comfortable, able to function in these shoes. I'm going to give you the time because ultimately this is going to help me, which is going to help anyone. So if people have to wait on the stunt rig or whatever for an hour, ultimately, like, so yeah, I love Tom just from that very moment. I look forward to working with him again.
Yeah, that settles it.
How could you not? I mean, that, just from a level of respect and professionalism, that's, and like, I mean, better than anybody is like, if Tom, like, when they're the stars and blah, 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 if they also just want to be like, "No, I don't want to do that," it's like, hey, he's not going to, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
That's where it stops.
that is so, it's also great to hear because he is an absolute, like, he's a legend of the
He's a
industry,
goat.
and he's, and you see the passion, like, he makes movies because he's so passionate about it. But like Mike was saying, is even on, going from director to head of the stunt coordinator, but then you being in charge of the boots or the shoes, and him showing that same standard of respect and professionalism
As the jump or the stunt.
is unbelievable, right? And it
No,
makes
he's-
sense why everyone loves working on his movies. And I mean, just from hearing your story, it's like, it's also nice to hear that there are people that are in this industry that are treating it like how it should be, which is like, yeah, he might be the guy who made the boots, but how is any less important than the guy who's going to help me do this stunt? We're all going towards the same goal. We're all here to do the best thing we can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's
And when
also just
when somebody is that respectful of what you do, you don't want to fuck up. Like, you want to make sure. Working with him really upped my game personally. With going, yeah, okay, and yeah. And there was even another time where we were dealing something else entirely, and he's like, "Oh, there's this other thing," and it's like, "Is there any chance we could do this for this other scene?" And it wasn't anything that we were doing at all. And it's like, "Okay, yeah, I fly back to Toronto tomorrow, which will give me like 3 days to do this. We can get it." And he's like, "Okay, you got one chance for this. Don't fuck it up." And it's like, okay.
But you want that though, because if
do.
you don't know that, then you that's pressure. That's a choice. If you can work in it, if you can be in a pressure cooker with a situation like that, then you can. And I mean, it's not for everybody. That's why this industry is full of the kind of people like you, the go-getters, the changers, the idea makers, and all that stuff. Like, I love that you had that experience just for like your own craft. Like, that's what's really cool about that is like it. Yeah. You get to do what you love doing with somebody who thinks what you do is interesting, which makes you can't buy loving your craft more than in a situation where it's respected and shown. And what I'm saying is that you have this breadth of work that I want to start talking about with you, but I just I need to say for listener before we do this that the link will be in the show notes, and you'll probably have to block off a whole day of work to go through every IMDb credit that this man has. And every time you click on a link, it takes you to the product. You can go, you see it on IMDb. If you want to see what Superman and the shots look like, you can do that. And now that we've gotten to talk about with love and Mission Impossible, like, I didn't even see that, Charles.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I missed that completely. That would have been the first thing. We're gonna ask you some questions. We know that there is a list of things that is coming out this year that we're gonna have to dance around. But we're gonna do we've got our tap shoes on. You didn't make them, but we'll dance around the subject the best we can, because we're sure you signed some NDAs. But we'll start we'll start with the work that we can talk about. If you look at Charles's chest, you will see.
I had to.
And I have cap on, so that wasn't an accident.
When Mike told us about this whole thing, well, first I didn't believe him, and then two, I was like, "You had me at Superman." So, but me and Mike were talking about it, like something like Superman, for instance. So, make like your whole explanation of making the boots or shoes for Tom Cruise is like so cool. But nobody, I think, unless you're in the industry, would think like that versus something like iconic, like a superhero boot. Yeah. So when you were when you got tasked with doing Superman's boots, do you, with something like that?
It's a 4-part question, by the
way. With something like that, because it's so iconic, do you look at like previous variations for inspiration, or do you still kind of just like...
You get told.
Or is it very much like there's so many specifics because it is an iconic thing that you just kind of go off of that? Or is it like a mix? Like, I guess Mike gave the example of how you approached the last, I was with love, how do you approach something like Superman? Is it a similar process? Is it different because there's certain parameters and stuff like that?
Superman it's funny that you bring up that one, because it is a very funny story that I feel I can talk about and not get in trouble about what it is. But
hey, like I said, we'll cut.
But Juliana, the designer for Superman, we'd worked with very arm's length on Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I feel like there was another one.
Is that James's constant? She's done a lot of his work?
Yes, it depends if the shows are in London or America.
Okay.
In America, Juliana is very much the person. And ironically, I got involved with Guardians through Alexandra Byrne, who did the original one in London.
Oh, cool.
Because London has always been kind of the main focus for us as far as film goes. And then it eventually spilled into America. But London was always kind of where I got the start as far as film. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we would get the occasional, like, not very interesting bit, but doing little bits and pieces on later Guardians stuff. And then Superman came up, and they called me to do a couple of the, like, secondary characters. Mr. Terrific, Green Lantern.
Very cool. Very cool.
Guy Gardner, the asshole of DC.
Yeah.
And so we were just doing those characters. And then I got a call. I remember it was a Tuesday of going, so we're just wondering. It's like, we have a fitting with David, with Superman on Saturday. And for reasons I won't get into, they needed boots for him, which were not on our radar at all. It's like, is there any possibility that you could make boots and fly down to Atlanta on Saturday to fit him? And so that gave us like 3 days. And I'm like, yes. But unlike usual design, which is quite collaborative, like I love working with designers and going, okay, we could do this, we could do this. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? It's like, because the time frame was so short, as like, let me do something just based on the concept designs, knowing that the aesthetic isn't going to be right, but at least we'll get something on his feet. We'll see if it's in the right direction, and then we will adjust. And
I love your very loose terms. You are dancing. We will adjust.
Yeah, we'll adjust it to make it look for the aesthetic. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Just do whatever you can. The fitting is on Saturday. Whatever you can come up with will be great. So I took the original concept stuff and kind of based something off of that. And then, yeah, we did it in 3 days. My crew fucking rocks here. We threw it all together. I got on a plane, flew down to Atlanta for the fitting, and, you know, of course, the conversations start with, like, me taking the boots out of the suitcase. It's like, well, that's not exactly what we imagined. We thought, it's like, yeah, that's fine. We'll change anything let's just see if it'll work and blah blah blah. David, who is a lovely human being, shows up. We do the fitting. Director was there, obviously. Designer was there. David was there. We tried all this stuff, and he's like, "I really love these boots," and it's like, "Oh, great!" And then, we're there for a few hours, did this, and then came out of the fitting, sat down with the design team, and they're like, "Yeah, it's not what we imagined these looking like, but he looked really good on it. Let's just go with this." And then, did some tweaking to work with the rest of the costume, but essentially the final look of Superman was the thing we threw together in 3 days. Eventually became that, so it wasn't a million miles off. So that was really cool.
That is awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And now Juliana calls a lot because of that. And that was the first time I really directly worked with her. And I love her and I love her team. And it was such a good experience. And then, and then getting to see the stuff on film and like all the Mr. Trip, all of that stuff was really kind of cool.
And oh man, that is so. And again, because it's Superman, you get those iconic shots of those boots getting shown off, and like
it's all about the costume.
The very first press photo they released of Superman,
put on the boots. Putting on the boots.
Holy shit!
God. Okay,
that must have been a fanboy moment for you, especially because it's like.
Yeah.
What?
90% of the time what we do doesn't even make it in frame. And it's like, here's the first image of him putting on the boots.
And you know what's funny is when that photo dropped, of course, within the podcast, we were all talking about it, and it was so funny. And the argument I made is I'm like, well, again, it's a very humanistic side of Superman. How often do you actually see him suiting up, like putting his boots? Like at the end of the day, it's still a guy who's got to take off his boots, or put them on. And I thought it was a really smart first image because we've never seen. It was a vulnerability of Superman we've never seen as something as simple as like putting on your boots. But I thought it was, that's so cool. That is so cool.
His expression of, I've got to do this.
Yeah, like here we go again.
Time to go to work.
Okay, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like everybody has to put their shoes on to go to work.
Yeah,
it was so
one boot at a time.
One boot at it was very blue collar.
Yeah,
what it was. Which grounded Superman. And I will totally admit here to you, Jeff, that I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
it took me a minute.
You wanted the classic iconic
but
me and Jimmy were like, but he's got to put on his boots to get the job done,
I know.
man.
It grew on me, and I love everything about it. But I will be honest, it took me a minute because I was like, something new, right? This isn't what
it was. A very Gunn-esque, like it was knowing how he approaches his characters. It was very. And now after seeing Superman, especially with that brilliant monologue at the end, it really was about establishing that Superman is more of a human than he is an alien. And now 100%. Going full circle, showing him putting on the boots is the first thing we see is very, very, it's smart. But looking at it from your standpoint, oh my God, I would have freaked out.
Yeah, and that photo, I don't know if you know that I read this in an interview well after the fact, but was not a stage photo for like PR for the film. It was literally I'm totally blanking on the woman that does all the on-set photos.
Yes.
Just like an EPK thing.
Yeah, and she just literally clicked that photo as he was getting into his costume, and James loved it. And it's like this is the image, and it was totally not in. It was not supposed to be included in.
That's even better.
PR things.
Totally. I think that's why it stood out even more.
The character.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. And I think that's why it was such a. It was almost like the photo stood out more because you're right. Like you can tell a difference between this is the photo op for the promo versus like this is a natural kind of BTS. That's so cool.
Yeah.
No. Character. Yeah.
How do you? I mean, there's things that you've done that are new. You have to design it from scratch, and then there are things like Superman, where it has been on pages and buried into nerddom and fandom the mind hive. Do you feel pressure when you're doing something that's so beloved versus
Like a
being
legacy.
like a
Like legacy kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, because you are very much, you're not just making the design. Like, if you do a project that isn't in the, common knowledge of humanity, like, I'm going to say Miss Peregrine's Home for
Yeah.
Peculiar Children,
Yeah.
just because I was talking about that exact project earlier today. So we're developing
Ava
all
Green.
that stuff, but nobody has anything that they're going to associate it with. So in a lot of ways, you're just making the designer happy. You're making the actors happy. You're making the designer and director happy. That's easy. When you get into something like Superman, Thor, any of the big IP stuff, you have to make the designer happy. You have to make the director happy. You have to make the Marvel
fan
IP
base.
people happy,
Right.
and you have to make the fan base happy.
Oh, I didn't even think about the
Anything is
IP people.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Feige's team and all of them. I'm sure things, especially with Marvel, they get the final say on all of that.
Oh
so.
my god! And yeah, and you're dealing with not just the actor, the designer, and me. You're dealing with
A panel.
so many people.
Wow.
And like Spider-Man's and
Right.
stuff. It's like you're not just dealing with the Tom and Sonia, the designer.
Right.
You're dealing with everybody there because it's important to, we always have the kind of tunnel vision of it needs to work for the actor in the moment and look right. But then there are the people thinking way beyond that of how are the fans going to react? How is this going to look in toy form? How is this going to...
Oh, toys!
No, the toy form is
Toys!
I see the toys
How
being
is
a
this
big
going to
thing.
lead into the next Avengers? It's like
Yeah.
there are people with so much bigger of a picture that you need
Right.
to keep happy as well. And you understand where everyone is coming from, but I'm like, I'm just trying to make a pair of fucking shoes. Okay,
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, cool, I get your 15 picture deal thing. I'm just trying to make shoes for this guy right now.
Yeah, we're in the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's cool that
That's
you
so
brought
cool.
you brought up the word that lets us transition easily. Not only have you been a part of some pretty impressive first time films, Wicked being one of them, which we're gonna get into because talk about fandom. But I want to switch to Marvel. You were a part of probably the biggest Marvel moment, I think, outside of On Your Left, which is Deadpool and Wolverine coming together.
90s Wolverine.
And
very much.
designing, like, so you had to design Deadpool's boots, but then you had to design, I imagine, eras of Wolverine's boots. Is that
we
correct?
actually didn't do Deadpool, but we did a lot of Wolverine.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so we
That's
did
awesome.
Wolverine, Johnny Storm, Lady Bull.
Yeah.
God, I can't remember Elektra. A bunch of the
Blade.
Deadpool there.
Yeah, did you do Blades?
Like
Did you do Blades and Gambit?
No,
Gambit
we
had
did not do Blade.
No, what
No,
about
we didn't
Gambit?
do Blade, or we didn't do Gambit either, which I
Okay.
was really hoping would come across. But yeah, like doing Wolverine was really wild.
Yeah.
Because it is so iconic. And
You were the first.
You're the first.
Yeah.
You got to do the yellow, like you.
The yellow blue, and like
And-
like yeah.
And the crazy thing on that, like the costume itself is, you guys must know FBFX in London who do, they are absolutely fucking brilliant. Like,
Yeah.
and not only that, they're wonderful human beings. And I think we worked together the first time on Thor 2, Dark World.
Oh,
And then
nice.
I've worked dozens of times together since then. And I love collaborating with those guys because they are some of the most genius minds you'll ever meet.
So cool.
And when we were, I knew we were doing the new Wolverine and working through ideas with Maya's one of the designers of how it was going to work. And then the costume ended up being very technical, like very linear, very angular. And then we ran into this thing of, okay, well, you're making the costume in London. I'm making the boots in Toronto. Hugh is God knows where. How are we going to do this so it's all going to mesh? And like, if you remember that costume, like the boots and the costumes kind of mimic each other, where it's very kind of up and angular and weird
As the
angles
boot and
in
the costume come
pointy.
together. Yeah, there's an intersect there.
Yeah, and so we're like, okay, how are we going to do this where it's going to work in time without having to do 10 prototypes, which we don't have time to do. And I remember getting a call from Grant at FBFX going, so we have Hugh in costume. It's like, what if we scanned him right now in costume and sent you the scan? Would that work? And they literally did the full body scan of him in his costume, sent me the digital files of his legs. I was able to find somebody here in Toronto to 3D print the legs. So we were able to, obviously the boot itself does not conform with the actual legs or the foot or something, but
Right.
we're able to make something work. But then we're met at the top, making sure that the line of the boot meets the line of the costume, and where the costume kind of comes down is very linear, without getting too boring and technical. Like
You can. It's fine.
The top of the boot is a reverse conical shape, so that in order to get all these angular lines of the top of the boot, nothing is straight in the boots. It's all very shallow concave and converse lines, concave convex lines, so that when it comes to the top of the conical shape of the top of the boot shaft, it reads as straight. That then reflects the line of the costume.
I was told there'd be no math on the exam.
Oh my God, it was brutal. And we did that.
wild.
And I remember even talking to Grant on the FBFX guys on the phone, going, I'm sending you the boots. There is no way this is actually going to work on the first time, but we will at least have a basis that we can work off of. And sent them off. They tried them on. He's like, it worked frighteningly well. Like, there were some tweaks and some aesthetic tweaks too, where the designer wanted something changed, but it's like, he was like, I can't believe how well it worked. I was like, I can't fucking believe that worked, but it did. But yeah,
awesome.
and that's the fun part of what we do, is that very much the collaborations with the costume effects people, with the costume cutters, with this and that. Same with like Spider-Man coming out later this year, just being able to figure out a way to, because we've done Spider-Man in the past, but it's like, okay, how can we make this all better? And just working with the different teams of going, okay, how can we do this? And yeah, and making it work. And like, I was fucking thrilled with Wolverine. And
That's
then
awesome.
literally Graham, the other designer, Graham Churchill, was like, okay, now we need to do the brown look. Can we do it? It's like,
right.
oh, okay, sure. And yeah.
So you did like the variant boots as well too, like, and all. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so
Charles,
cool.
Charles has his project, the Nerdgasm, which focuses on comic book lore and video games and pop culture, which is how we met. Mark, who is broken into, he owns a comic book collective. He collects. Comic book in the world of the Real Debaters is big, and it's madly respected because of so much pressure that's put on you to make this stuff. What's the pressure like with everything coming out this year? Like, you are in so many titles this year. You are in at least 8 of the movies that we all want to see. We just did a preview of 2026, and your name is on all of them. And
I saw that you posted a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh, check.
See, yeah.
It's so awesome,
Right? Like,
I mean, well, when we were looking at the credits today, I mean, the first things were like, can we talk about this? Because, like, new Avengers, new Spider-Man. I'm like, oh. And going back to, I'm sure, like, the amount of NDAs you have to sign for things like that, I imagine are wild.
What? Yeah. First question of the dancing of the show. This is dancing.
What
with
were
the Stars.
Doom's? What are Doctor Doom's shoes like?
Shut up. Shut up. We don't have a lawyer.
I would be shocked.
I plead the fifth. What is the process like when it hasn't come out? Like, how much of this is like What's that like? Is it so fucking secretive? Like, are you
No, it's incredibly it's incredibly secretive when we're doing something like what's the next one coming out? Supergirl.
Yeah.
And so like that's a funny thing because we actually did Supergirl's boots in the Superman film.
Right. I was going to say because she shows up. That's right.
She shows up at the very end.
That's
we did
right.
those boots again, very last minute. Oh, she's been added in. Let's do some. And then we got brought in, different design team, different continent, because that shot over in London.
Right.
With a different design team some of whom I've worked with many, many, many times over the years. But so yeah, we're kind of brought in on that. Obviously very, very secretive. It was about a year ago I was over there doing fittings for that, and really can't talk about anything until it comes out into the public realm. So when the trailer comes out, it's like, oh, that looks good, and oh yeah, I forgot about that because that was like 10 months ago that we did that.
I was gonna say, you're done. You're on to the next.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Like well on to the next. But it's actually a story I can tell about, which is
late breaking at the Real Debaters, listener.
Yeah, with the whole Deadpool and Wolverine thing.
Okay.
So, we get all the characters often, because of the secrecy, you're working under working titles for the film, various characters. They're not saying you're making Wolverine. They're saying you're making Bob or whatever.
Yeah.
And, so we're doing all this stuff that is, that we can't talk about. It's all under super secret code names, all of that shit. So we're doing shoes for Chris Evans for this character, knowing he's going to do it and get all the looks and doing all of this. So we go through it all and go, yeah, this is fun. We're doing like the new boots for
Johnny Storm.
Him, for Captain America. Well, no, at that point it's like, oh, obviously it's for Captain America.
Oh, so you guys didn't know that they were actually right, and you would have assumed it's Cap, right?
Yeah, he was called like Chuck or something on all.
Right.
So we did it, and like I got the designs of him in the look of his like covered.
Oh yeah, where he has the the hood on and stuff. Yeah.
And we made the boots and blah blah blah. So my wife and I go to the opening weekend, and we're watching. And like, I'm all excited to see Elektra and Wolverine and all of this. And then he comes on and that. It's like, oh, that's so cool. And it literally wasn't until the Flame On line where it's like, holy shit, I had no idea. And I worked on that fucking costume.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
That's how secretive it is.
Wow.
And,
wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, it kind of makes sense because from their standpoint, they're like, you don't need to know that plot point.
No.
We just need these shoes, right? So you don't need to know that. But I kind of like that because it was still a surprise for you. Like, you went in there being like, Cap's going to show up. But then it was Johnny Storm, and just like us, we're like, what?
Yeah. And he's in the Johnny Storm outfit with the boots we made. It's like,
that's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah. That is very cool. And that also makes me happy because I like that you still get to get those surprises even though you've been working on these things for months or whatever, right?
Like, I will know far too many spoilers of any of these films.
Yeah.
But there are certain surprises that are really cool.
Wow. So, okay. So the secrecy stuff is true. They are very... I mean, it kind of makes sense because me and Mike talk about this is sometimes, especially comic book movies... I feel obligated to go opening night because I'm like, I don't want to see the 1,000 spoilers the next day. So I think I got to go.
Fucking trolls.
Yeah.
The breadth of work you have is incredible. Is there a style that you really like to work on out of all of them? Like, you've done so much. Like when someone says, superhero costume or timepiece or sci-fi or something elegant, like,
do you have a favorite boot or shoe that you're like, that's my...
It really depends. Like, sometimes doing the period stuff is just lovely and fun, and you get to really do the period detail stuff. But then you do some of the wild superhero stuff, and like Superman was great. And other superhero stuff is not as great, but really challenging and really pushes you. So yeah, it's really hard and it really tends to depend on what you're doing at the time, because we'll do like 3 superheroes, not even back to back, usually overlapping each other, and then get a lovely like 19th century pair of boots or a bunch of pair of boots. It's like, oh, this is lovely. I love this. Or like a Jojo Rabbit where we're doing like
Oh, cool.
1940s gorgeous stuff.
Right.
And that I did that for Myas, who also did Deadpool and Wolverine. Previous project for that was Thor Ragnarok, and going from that into this, and after doing a bunch of superhero stuff, going, oh, it's really nice to do the little detailed, beautiful stuff.
What's Taika's mind like?
He's I've never met the man, but I love working on his projects.
Yeah, hey.
Because again, he's one of those people. There are a handful of directors who are so appreciative of what you do. Like, he's on level with Guillermo del Toro, who I've met many times, who I absolutely love because he appreciates what you do so much.
Have you done a Guillermo movie? Just
what's that?
I didn't know you did Mission Impossible. Have you done a Guillermo movie?
Oh yeah, we did Shape of Water.
You did? Okay, so I was telling Mike, I'm like, because I know that Guillermo loves Toronto and wants to film a lot of his stuff in Toronto. So we wanted to see if you guys had overlapped, because I'm like, I feel like he at least knows him the way that he loves Toronto. So
yeah. No, like the first time I met him was on the Strain. No, first time was Pacific Rim when we were just
okay, so you did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we did stuff for Pacific Rim, Strain, Shape of Water. I can't remember if there was anything else in there, but yeah, he's fantastic, and he's got such a love for craft.
Yeah,
I would imagine so.
Taika, even though I've never met face to face, is very much the same. Tarsum Singh, I don't know if you're familiar with him, who I absolutely love as well. Did The Fall.
Yes, that's one of the most prettiest movies I've ever seen in my life.
One of my all-time favorite films. Did Mirror Mirror, which wasn't a great film, but he was fantastic. It was gorgeous.
But the set design and everything of Mirror Mirror was beautiful. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lesson to be learned here, listener. Not every there's about 20 different things you can like in a movie. So if you don't like two of them, that doesn't make it a bad movie. Just saying.
No, for sure.
I think what you said too, the key word is the craftsmanship. Like, they really appreciate, and it's also shouldn't say dying, but the way that the world is moving more digitally and CGI and whatnot, you really appreciate those craftsmen, especially going to basics, like building shit and actually wiring things and whatnot, Yeah.
Absolutely. And the directors who really see that as going, okay, this is such an important element. So, so I'm on a Zoom call with like Boots Riley talking about I'm a Virgo stuff, because those massive ass boots that were such an important thing. And he wanted to communicate that directly, and we were able to like talk about it. Or like, Mirror Mirror was one of my best experiences ever, because I got to work, to meet Tarsum, deal with him, but I also got to work with Eiko Ishioka, who is the reason that I got into design to begin with. Like,
so cool.
When I was like probably 17, I went to see Bram Stoker's Dracula in the theater.
Wow.
And that was the first time I ever became aware of design as a thing, because that was such a gorgeous film.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I just fell in love with it. And that's actually what inspired me to start, like, as a kid, getting into design and going, oh, this is a thing. The design, costume design, set design, this is a thing.
Yeah.
And that was a film that started it. And Eiko's designs for that film were so gorgeous. And then, 20 years later, if somebody had told me Eiko would be sitting literally like right behind me in this shop right here, as we were talking about, it wasn't even Mirror Mirror. It was the, she designed the Spider-Man on Broadway.
Oh, yes.
Turn Off the Dark.
Yeah.
And we were developing stuff like that. She was working with colleagues of mine. She came by my shop in Toronto. It's like, this is the woman who literally changed my life with those designs when I was 17, and now I'm
now she's a peer.
37. Here we're collaborating on another show, and then a few years later we're doing Mirror Mirror, and like one of the greatest moments of my life. One of say three work-wise probably life-wise, was sitting in a fitting room in New York doing Mirror Mirror, where all I got was kind of a vague drawing of what was wanted for the Prince boots. And again, time is always very short. And it's like, okay, can you just throw together something, bring it to New York? We'll try it in the fitting, see what works. And then getting there, and even the assistant designer going, yeah, I don't think this is quite what she wanted, but let's try it on in the fitting. And I had a bunch of other stuff too. And we tried on all the looks, and Aiko, who I had met at this point, but still totally like, she is the one. She's the one who changed my life. That's and awesome. Sitting in this and going, and this is designer going, yeah, we know this isn't quite what you had in mind, blah blah blah. And she's like, that's okay. She's like, this part of it is exactly what I had in mind. And so sitting on a floor in a fitting room in New York City, cutting this pair of boots that I made for the fitting, and the two of us, like, she's like, can you pass me that tape? Yeah, okay, we'll cut it apart. We're taping it together. She's like, this is exactly it. Can you do this? It's like, yeah, of course. Like, that is one of the best moments of my life. Seeing it on film a year later was really cool, but that was okay, this is wrong, but this bit is right. How can we make this into something? And just being able to, I mentioned before, I love collaborating, being able to collaborate with this woman who has such an incredible vision, bringing that vision to life.
Did you get a chance to tell her that?
No.
We'll send her this.
We'll send her. We'll let her know.
She passed away a week before that film opened. That was the last project that she ever did.
Oh my goodness.
No way.
Yeah, which meant even more.
I was just going to say, no kidding. Oh, man.
But also at the same time, at like that day in New York, by the end of it, it was just kind of that, okay, this is something cool. And just leaving and not only being able to do that, but realizing that she recognized that.
Totally.
And then going to Montreal and doing kind of the next stage of fittings and stuff. It was very cool.
Well, you were. We all want to be seen, as cliche as that is to say.
Yeah.
We all want to be seen in what we're good at and recognized. Like I would love Kevin Smith to be like, "You're a good podcaster." I mean, I've talked to him, but I never got to introduce myself in that regard. But that would I'd be like, fuck whatever happens after that, right? You kind of and I was going to ask you, I'm like, what was the moment that you felt that this is something that you can do? And I bet you that's the moment, right, where everything you learned right in front of the person who inspired you, and now you're working with them.
You're on the right path
towards.
Right? Like it's got to be one of those moments. Like,
you're a Jedi.
It's the most rewarding thing in a way, because I think everybody wants to work or at least meet someone who's inspired them, their mentor. But having that,
and you're scared sometimes because that can fuck you up.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't. I'm sure you were probably intimidated the whole time. Right. Like
But that was the moment beyond even realizing I can do this. It was the, holy shit, I am doing this.
Yeah.
And being able to work through the idea with Aiko, and leaving that with, literally a pair of boots in tatters taped together, going, okay, I know how to do this now. And even getting to Montreal, there were some things we had to change a little bit about it, but it's like,
that's awesome.
That was the moment of going, I'm doing this. Because that was early on in our film career as well, because I was always theater, circus, just making the transition. Like Pacific Rim, Mirror were the things that were pushing me into, maybe I should do more into film. And then shortly thereafter, it was 2012, and suddenly we were doing film, and that overtook everything.
Awesome. I mean, I imagine everybody kind of has, like a stunt coordinator wants to work with a certain actor, or costume designer wants to work with a certain director because they like their style, right? The New Wuthering Heights movie
Mhm.
that's coming out by her name eludes me.
Yes, is it Saltburn?
Emerald
It's Salt.
Fennel.
Yes,
Emerald Fennel. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Yeah.
You as a now, I should add this kind of two questions here. Are you a shoemaker or are you a cobbler?
I am definitely a shoemaker. A
All
cobbler
right.
is something entirely different.
It is, right?
Please tell
Okay,
the
it
people
is.
out there what the difference is for the ignorant.
A cobbler is typically a repairer of shoes in the modern parlance. Historically, always the repairer of shoes, but they would also, in the repairing process, take bits and pieces of shoes that were no longer wearable, but that could be recycled, and being able to rebuild them into shoes. And that's like where the term cobbled together comes from.
Okay.
It's because that's what it was. Shoe
Ah.
repairers would be able to take bits and pieces of existing shoes and make them into a new shoe,
Right.
which is a craft unto itself, absolutely. But
For sure.
so cobbler really is the repairers, where a shoemaker, if you want to get into the really fancy terms,
I would
which
like to know the history in 30 seconds, please.
I absolutely hate the word cordwainer because it sounds so fucking pretentious. That is the historical
Okay.
differentiation. There were cordwainers and there were cobblers.
Gotcha.
One would make shoes from scratch, the other would repair and piece together and stuff like that. So yeah, I would never ever call myself a cordwainer. I'm a shoemaker because that's what I do. I make shoes.
Totally.
You fucking damn right you do.
Yeah.
Second question, being a shoemaker, there are certain movies that I think everybody is like, for your profession, when you got asked to make shoes for Wicked, the biggest part of the entire story is a pair of red ruby slippers. It's kind of your Everest, is it, maybe? Or is there another one in your life that you would say you're like, that's my stamp?
I loved working on Wicked. Paul Taswell, I've worked with like 10 years prior when we were still both doing theater production, like Stratford Festival or something. I love Paul and did like West Side Story and stuff before Wicked. It was a great experience. It was a crazy experience. It would not make my top 3 as far as
Okay.
these are the 3 best experience. I love the traction that project made. I love you know how much attention that got for us and stuff like that. I love the more above and beyond any of that. I love the technical challenges that Paul and team presented to us that we were able to deliver on.
And you were both Galinda and
Alphaba.
We did, yeah, Galinda, Elphaba, Fierro, Bach,
Whoa.
Nessa Rose,
Wow.
kind of all the main.
I was
big
going to say,
ones.
yeah, like the
Yeah.
big characters. Wow.
Yeah, and they were all really, really challenging in their various ways. And I love that the film got so big, and everyone knows of Wicked. There,
Yeah. Yeah.
When you go to a party, you don't need to explain what you do when you can say, "Yeah, I made the shoes for Wicked."
yeah, you must get to. That's going to take you far, sir.
Yeah, and I loved it. And it's not like speaking less of that. It wouldn't make my top 3 list.
No,
Like,
totally.
Do you? I was talking about this with Mike. Just my brain. If you work on a movie that gets nominated for costuming, do
Yeah.
you get any recognition for that? Like, are you considered part of that or no?
God,
No,
we don't
eh?
even make it the credits because
Really?
because we're an independent shop.
Oh,
So
I see.
typically the people that make it into credits are employees of the film and whatever.
Right.
So
Okay. Gotcha.
I've never actually counted my film credits, probably like, I don't know, 250, 300. We've been named in credits 3 times.
Wow.
2 were for the same designer, Linda Muir, who did Nosferatu and
Oh,
The
cool.
Lighthouse are the only times we've ever made it into credits for
Those are
filmmaking.
awesome credits.
Those are awesome
yeah,
big
those
credits.
are
Fantastic.
awesome
And it's all
movies.
because of Linda, where I know her and I know she's like, yeah, we're naming everybody who's
That's
worked
awesome.
on that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, typically like Marvel films, we won't make it into credits. And like
Wow.
Never do because we're at
Okay,
I see. Okay,
they could omit like 2 VFX artists just to make room for you, and nobody
or
would
special
be
thanks.
fucking wiser.
Special thanks
Yeah,
too. You know,
yeah,
special thanks.
seriously.
Yeah.
But the way I look at it as well, like with I don't give a shit about credit.
Right.
You don't strike
for
us
sure.
as someone who
For
does.
sure.
Yeah.
But also, it's like if anyone cares about who made the shoes for that film, it's probably somebody who can make a call and find out. And like
Right.
the millions of people seeing Wicked don't care who made the shoes for it.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
But if there was a designer who saw it and went, "Oh, I wonder who made Elphaba's boots," they could call somebody and find out in 10 seconds who made the shoes.
That's pretty badass, though. I kind of like that in a way because really it's like, just being honest, it's if you're not good at what you do, then you wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it kind of makes it more in demand because it's like, oh man, this guy's not in the credits, but I want to know who made Superman's boots. What's going on here? You know what I mean? So
me.
that's really cool. That's really, I think that's cool. And I think also too, in this industry, it's more about, it just shows more that you and your shop, you guys care more about the passion and the actual thing. Not saying that, you know, obviously credit due, but I kind of respect it more because it's really shows more that you're there for the actual art and the vision and the product than like, my name's got to be on there and it's got to be third from the blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
It's all about process. Like for me, it's all about process.
Yeah.
If we get to see something on screen at the end of it, great.
Right.
A lot of the time that doesn't happen, but it doesn't matter because I know the process that went into it. And the most important thing to me isn't seeing it on screen. It's seeing the finished product on the table when we take photos of it before we send it to the designer. It's like, yes, we did it.
Yeah.
We took everything and we made it happen. And then a year and a half later, we see it on the screen and go, oh, great. Yeah, that's why.
Right. Especially when they're giving you 3-day deadlines, right? Like, you're more about like, fuck, we did it rather than like
the lore of the shoe is enough for you.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
I would like to say though, 2 things. And one of them we have to talk about because you've mentioned them and we should talk about them for a second because we understand that it takes a village to do a lot of this stuff. And teams are behind everybody in these departments. But when I watched Wicked, there's a history of Wicked on the show. Charles will back me on this. We did a whole episode where I tried to convince the 3 of them that like Wicked wasn't as good as the movie was because I'm not Wicked's audience. We came to that conclusion that I love musicals, but I'm just not the Wicked story. But I did say that for me, the reason that movie was an 8 out of 10. The reason it wasn't a 10 out of 10 was because the story wasn't for me. But I said the craftsmanship that went into making that movie is Oscar level. Like the production design, the costume design, the world building, all of that stuff, technically speaking, is why movies need to get made, why movies need to be seen in the theaters. And for me, it wasn't carried by the story. The performances were good. But I love Cynthia. Ariana is fucking hilarious. Like, I will champion every other project, but that story just didn't do it for me. But I'm like, it doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy. And that's
and we all went on, like, we all agreed right away. Like, just from seeing the trailer, it was one of those things where you're like,
maker's movie.
Yeah, you're like, well, like they're this is exactly like this is why you go to theaters to see movies still, and like you could tell like. The one thing we agreed is they did, I feel, carry the legacy of Wizard of Oz by building sets and having costuming and doing this, right? Especially in a world where we can CGI all that now, you know? So it was one of those where I'm like, regardless of you saying, I don't like music with this and that, it's like, just go. If you appreciate movies, go see it in the theater because you will be like, ooh, and awe. And the more you watch, the more we have these interviews, the more I'm like, I wonder how they did that.
Yeah.
How did they get that up there? You know, like you start noticing certain things. So no, it's such a cool part of the industry that you get to see it from and get to do stuff. I think like for me, that's the shit as I get older, I'm more interested in. Because
how the sausage is made.
Yeah, like, you know, like it's cool seeing how they make Superman fly, but I'm like, you know, how do they get him in that
to put
suit?
on boots.
Yeah, like how they're trying not to
make him a person.
Yes, exactly. And you know, and even him walking around on set in these boots and stuff, like the process of like you said, obviously shoes have to be comfortable, but what degree of that is that in the process? And then realizing, yeah, it's probably one of the most important because they're going to be wearing it the whole time. And the Tom Cruise thing, like you making the variations of the boot, like these are good for him to jump, these are good for him to run. It's like you don't think about that,
No.
you know, especially with Mission Impossible. You know, everyone's just like, Tom Cruise loves running, but it's like, notice that he's not running in sneakers though.
Who made you seriously, out of some of the most iconic moments in the 100 years of cinema, and there are a lot, we've all in the last 10, 15 years, well, since Mission 1, Tom can run.
Yeah, loves running. Loves running.
And you are a part of cinematic history where Tom ran, and like some of the best runs have been in your boots, in your product.
Well, the fact you said he drove by and then reversed,
right?
Window down. I mean, hey, that's pretty awesome.
No, it is. Yeah, no, it is very, very cool. And I love directors and stuff who appreciate too. Like, I didn't meet John, director of Wicked. But
John Woo.
Chu.
Sorry, Chu.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But everything that I've heard about him, and it really shows in the film, is he has, kind of like Guillermo, such an appreciation for the crafts.
Yeah.
Where that's why Elphaba's first introduction is his shoes or boots tilting up to the rest of her costume.
That's
because
right.
he really believes in the, again, I'm not meaning to put words in his mouth, but from how I've heard other people describe him, he's so into the fact that all these elements make the character. He's very much interested in showcasing those elements because it says to the audience as well, it will give them like the building of the character in one swoop shot.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I love, Guillermo is notorious for that too. And
That's
awesome.
When fun creative minds get to play together. I just watched the Disneyland handcrafted documentary last night.
Oh, that one's awesome. That's cool.
And they say in it that like no one said no. They just said go figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's why we have it. And I think that's why we have some of your best products, because you're just like, I'll go figure it out. But you obviously are not doing this by yourself. There is a group of people that work in the shop with you that are on your website. How do you like task a product? Who's involved? What are the stages of your shop? Who's all helping you here?
I describe us as a misfit bunch of shoemakers because none of us, including myself, ever imagined making a living out of making shoes, out of being shoemakers. And over the years, I've just built a really solid team of craftspeople, people who are good with their hands. In fact, I've brought in experienced shoemakers into my shop, and it's never worked because it's much better off finding people who are really good at doing something and guiding them into the right thing. So I've had, I don't know, 40, 50 people through. The business is almost 21 years old. I've had many people come through, and it's all about building a team of people who are really good. And like Anson, who has been with me over 13 years, I think, came in for a 5-week stint because I needed help. He was working with a props friend of mine, toy maker friend of mine. Anson had a business making custom body piercing jewelry. So he was very good at the fine stuff. 13 and a half years later, he hasn't left. So he came in for 5 weeks and he just fit in well. And awesome. From having somebody who's really good at the hands, you can teach certain things. There's a lot of things you can teach. There are a lot of things you cannot. And what typically happens is I find people who are good at that thing you can't teach and then fill it out with teaching. Same with Mel, who's been my main stitcher, has been with me. I'm terrible with years, 7 years, 6 years, 7 years. And again, she just gets it. She's an excellent stitcher. What we do is not traditional stitching at all, but there's something in her that goes beyond the nuts and bolts stuff. And
I love that.
I surround myself with people like that who are really, really good. Murphy, Nat. There's so many people who I just kind of find the people who stick around are the people who get it. And they're good at what they do. So like right now, because I closed the business in 2023, free to go do other things, which obviously didn't happen. And so when I closed it, that was just at the tail end of Wicked. I had a crew of 16 people, many of which who'd worked with me for years and years.
Wow.
We closed the business. My next stage didn't work out. We kind of reopened the business, leading into fully reopening the business, having to crew back up. So my crew right now is split between the old team and kind of the new team who've been with me for about a year.
Okay.
That's
And the new team, the people who've stuck with me for the year, are the people who get it, who get something out of the process, who really enjoy it. And them mixed with the old team, who are the ones who have stuck around for being really good. Yeah, it's just, there is something you can't teach. You find the people who fit in well, and you just try and foster it. You try not to piss them off too much, because the other thing is, it's an intense environment that we work in, and I can be a bit of an asshole some days.
Takes one to know one.
Every day, yeah. And we get to build a really good team. Where we're at right now feels good. Like it's still, right now it's a team of 9 of us, I think, and we're at a good place. The nature of the work has changed a lot from 2023 to now, partially because I chose to tweak the direction of the business in something that's much healthier for me.
For sure.
And it's much easier working with 8 or 9 people than it is 16 to 20. But yeah.
But that's how you figure it out, right? Like, you got to kind of do it to know, oh, this is not working, this is working. And I agree with you too. That's very much like us. We found each other during COVID. He discovered us. It started as a guest.
Romance.
I was a guest on an episode, but like you said, we just clicked, and it was like it felt like we had been working for years together. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things like, let's keep doing this. Why would we? You know what I mean? Let's keep this going. And
yeah, the show is a ragtag group of people that I've found or collected or interviewed, and then been like, yeah, you should probably do this together.
And like when you find a good creative relationship, it fuels everything in a positive way, and you just want to keep going, right?
Like when I come up with an idea and I'm like, okay, I know, like I never take the first idea anymore, because you're too married to it. You can't see any holes in it. It's exciting, and you're not looking at it you're not looking at it with 2020, right? You're an excited puppy. So when I present them with an idea, and then I hear from 3 other people, I'm like, because now I'm like, okay, I know I can't do the spelling. I know I can't maybe see the timing. I can't self-edit, but Charles can, and Jimmy can, and Mark and Rob and Ian, who've done the show. And like,
it's all the collaborative.
There's always some sort of collaborative process.
It's the best thing about being a creator is, I think, just being able to collaborate and knowing that it's, again, like you said, once you find that team that you're like, we just go, like, we get it, we go, and even if we disagree, we move past or whatnot, and then you don't want to have to rediscover that relationship with a whole new team. You just want to build off of it, right?
No, for sure.
That's
and I've
awesome.
got levels of collaboration, which I love, because I collaborate with my team, and I love, like, I've worked with some of these people for so long, like Anson or Mel, and I have a great
shorthand
relationship where it used to be I would have to figure out something 100% of the way before passing it off to the team.
Right.
Now it's great because I can figure it out 90%, and it'll be Mel asking like, oh, should I do it this way or this way? And it's like, what do you think is the best way to get ultimately this look? It's like, I feel it's this way, but do you think it would be better to do it this? Yeah, maybe. Great, I trust you, do it. And so I get to collaborate with my team to make the best product here. I get to collaborate with the designers to do the best product for them. And also I get to collaborate with other makers, FBFX, Rob Alsop, who's also in London, like the other costume makers. And my crew is pushing me, I'm pushing the designers. Myself and the other makers are pushing back and forth to create something that is beyond what has ever been created before, which is great.
Yeah.
It's such a nice feeling. Those Wolverine boots, those Superman boots are things that have never existed before, because of my crew, because of the crews I was working with there, because of the designers, because of the creative people involved. It's amazing.
And there's cinematic moments, like just the story behind. Like, it's always interesting to watch a movie being made than the actual movie, because to make a movie is just, we've never made one, but I've heard stories, right? It'll break you. But the Wolverine boots.
You guys made the
people
first
waited over 15 years for those boots.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a throwaway moment to me. It's the accumulation of like, oh no, we don't get the Wolverine in this one. Oh, Fox isn't gonna do it. All right, okay, Disney's got it. Will they do it now that they have Marvel? Like, that stuff to a lot of people is very important, because it's the stuff that we enjoy seeing, and and being able to see it made by people who have talent and love for it like you do. That's what we respect. I'm more interested in the boots sometimes than what am I going to ask Ryan Reynolds?
No, and it's great because it is like when you can be part of the thumbprint left on like the cultural zeitgeist. It's amazing. Like, because honestly, it will still be the projects that I pick that are important to me. Okay, Wolverine is kind of cool. Him putting up the hood, and going, I made those boots.
Yeah,
that's a moment that lives in time.
Totally.
The other moments are often on the smaller things, where one of my favorite reactions in talking about shoes for films and blah blah blah, that always garners the kind of the same reaction of when I talk about a certain project, it'll be people going, "Oh, I know that project," to, "Oh, is Jojo Rabbit," where the shoes in Jojo Rabbit, where
it's what you see.
Yeah, and it's one of that's probably one of the most important projects to me, and it's not a Marvel level. It's a Taika show.
Yep. And
to take it back even a step, again, Maya's Rubio, designer. We were talking, I think it was just after Thor Ragnarok came out, or it may have even been Christmas, where we were just like sending the Merry Christmas, hope the New Year's treating you well, chatting, and she's like, "Oh, I'm doing this new project. I wish we had the budget for shoes." I keep my finger on the pulse of the industry enough to go, okay, I know Taika's developing this World War II project. It's probably that. It's Maya's. It's like, she's like, "Yeah, the shoes play an important role. I wish we could afford you, but I don't think it'll happen." I was like, "I will tell you what, I will cut you a deal for this. Just make it up for me on the next project." Because it's Taika, who I love.
Hell yeah.
It sounds like a really important project to Maya. So we cut her a huge deal for this project. Didn't think too much of it, other than we're, making shoes for Scarlett Johansson and making Hitler boots for Taika. I was like, this just seems fun.
Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler. Like, the best joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sent the boots off. You kind of forget about it. I lost a ton of money on that project. I didn't care, because Maya's next project was probably the next Thor film or something, where we made up for it.
Yeah.
Jojo Rabbit had its North American premiere at TIFF.
Mm-hmm.
We managed to score tickets for it, because it's like, oh, it's a show we worked on. It's TIFF. Gotta go see it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Went to see it. That moment where he sees the butterfly, is chasing the butterfly, such a beautiful moment, tilts up to see his mother's shoes hanging.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it was that full range of motion of saying, "Oh my God, what a beautiful scene," to, "Oh my God, we made those shoes," to, "Oh my God, we made those shoes."
Yeah.
And literally crying.
Yeah.
At the screening at TIFF, seeing all of that. Like, that is probably certainly, if not number one in the top three of experience for that, because it's made an impression on people. Those shoes have made an impression. And another,
you know what, Jeff? Those shoes are the red balloon in Schindler's List.
Yeah, very much. So.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful way of saying it. But yeah, that's a beautiful way of saying it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And yeah, but it's moments like that. It's moments in oddly another Taika project, the pirate one. Where flight means death.
Yes, yeah.
And there is that moment where Blackbeard and Steed are
Yeah.
face down, and you see Blackbeard touching Steed with his foot.
Yeah.
And that became such an iconic moment in the show, but also in queer culture in general.
That's right. Yeah.
And seeing that and going, God, we made most of those boots. And I have seen like people doing like a needlepoint of those boots touching each other. Like it became such a moment in
Oh yeah.
the culture.
That's awesome.
And to be able to be a small part, or maybe even not a small part, but being a part of that is more important. That's more important than the Wolverine boots, which were really fucking cool.
Totally.
Or Supergirl boots.
Everything has its ups and downs and its pluses and minuses for sure. But I've seen a variation of the Jojo Rabbit poster with your boots on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that, and the scene, like the early scenes in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we looking at these boots?
Yeah.
Why are these boots important in these throwaway shots? Why if it's expensive to be on screen, this doesn't tell a story. And it's the Sophie's choice of the moment that rocks you.
Yeah.
And you just that's the stuff
So
we love
awesome.
too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
the memories, it's the effects that you take away from that stuff.
The defining moments. It's the ones that I always hold in my heart.
Totally.
I could keep you for hours, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have tons of stuff on the go. What is there something that this year, out of all of the titles, like you've got? Let me go get the titles here, just for what you should watch for, like when you're looking at this stuff this year, listener. Okay, let's get to it. Where are we?
I mean, iconic ones. The new Spidey, and he's got the new suit now. So
Let's like
that's a big one.
You did the Smashing Machine.
That's awesome.
You did. Now You See Me, Murderbot with Love, East of Eden, The Beauty, which I'm loving. I saw the clip. It's it's really fun. It's really fun in extended format. The Running Man, Superman. For 2026 though, okay, we've got American Love Story, Pride and Prejudice, the Chrissy Martin biopic.
Oh, cool.
Voltron, Lanterns, Ahsoka, Vision Quest, The Odyssey,
Awesome.
Masters of the Universe, Supergirl, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and Avengers Doomsday. Your boots.
It sounds cool when you put it like that.
Right? Like your boots are going to be all over 2026.
When Mike told me the list at the beginning, I was like, whoa, he's doing Marvel and DC? That's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge.
You can play in both waters.
That's awesome.
The work you do is amazing, but this is the portion of the show where we like to find out what the work you like to enjoy is. And first question in that is, can you watch a movie without breaking down shoes?
It's hard to. But not even like, it's really hard to watch any films without obviously focusing on the footwear, going, oh, that's shit, or oh, that's kind of cool.
For sure.
Or seeing stuff that we did that's like, oh, that's kind of good. Ooh, next time I would definitely do that. So it's always all about the footwear. But it's funny now when I watch a film that we worked on, because it is often a year and a half, 2 years after we did it, it tends to be what happened, or what hits me is the process stuff. It's like Spider-Man, I'll be able to probably watch it and go, oh, we could have probably changed that. We could have done this differently. But what I'll remember most of all would be, showing up in London, being flown to London to do his first fitting to make sure Tom and his main stunt guy, Luke, were okay with what we'd come up with, because we'd done his stuff for the previous film.
Right.
Oh, God, what was the film?
Oh, God.
No Way Home.
No Way Home, yeah.
We'd done that, but the whole idea was to make it better on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'd done Zoom fittings because it was COVID times with Tom on that one, but it was always a feel, same designer for the two, let's make it better. They brought me to London. I did like 4 different prototypes of different approaches for the boots to see what would be best and blah, blah, blah. And then the coolest thing was like, meeting with Sonia, who I absolutely love. I've been working with since like Fast and Furious 6, I think.
Nice.
And then Tom shows up, we get in the fittings, and he had just flown in from Morocco for this fitting.
Wow.
And, we sit down and it's like, Tom, this is Jeff. Oh, so nice to meet you in person, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I love the boots you did for me for the Odyssey. It's like,
That's awesome.
hilarious because Linda, who he's working with then, she had mentioned that he was flying to London for Spider-Man fitting. It's like, oh, Jeff, who did these boots, did your boots for that too. So it was like,
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Those will be what I remember watching the new Spider-Man versus necessarily the
New Odyssey.
yeah.
That's really cool. Like
But
that's
yeah, no, it is quite cool. So now it is kind of more the stories or the process and stuff like that. Same with like Running Man. You do not see a single moment of anything we did for that. But I watched it a couple of weeks ago going, remember being in the fitting room with Glenn and Edgar Wright and going, oh, this is really cool.
yeah, I'm in this room right now. Yeah.
But it was also very much a Tom Cruise type of thing going, let's develop stuff that he can do all this stuff in.
Right.
That's never going to be seen on screen or will be.
Can you attest to the rumor that Glenn Powell is the new Tom Cruise?
He certainly seems to. Tom certainly seems to think he is.
Yeah, because Tom almost kind of knighted him as like,
it feels like he's
taking over
passing
the
the
Maverick. Yeah, you're taking over the torch a little bit.
Yeah, and when we were doing the fitting for Running Man, we were talking about stuff. And it's just like, I did something quite similar. It's like, oh, it was for Mission Impossible. So it's like, for your friend Tom. He's like, oh, I'm going for dinner with Tom after that. He's like,
God.
I'll tell Tom you say hi. And I was like, I don't think Tom will remember me. He's like, I absolutely guarantee Tom will remember you. He remembers everyone. And I was like, okay, that's fucked up, but sure, Tom might say hi.
Conversations I never thought I'd have getting out of bed this
exactly.
morning.
So cool.
What have you seen recently that you absolutely love that you think people should watch?
A bunch of stuff I didn't work on.
I imagine that's the easiest for you to watch, though.
Yeah, Sinners was the best film I've seen in years.
Fuck, right?
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah. I think Sinners was the best film I'd seen since Saltburn. Like,
Ooh.
as far as being like, I hope it cleans up at the Oscars.
Same here.
I fucking wish I'd worked on that.
Yeah.
But
What would you
actually,
What would you have done for Smoke and Stack?
oh, I don't know, but I could totally imagine, because I have worked with Ruth, the designer, before.
Oh, nice.
I would imagine we could have done a really fun thing, because she's, again, so into the detail. Kind of like
That's
a Paul
awesome.
as well. Very
Yeah.
into character, into details from ground up. So,
It's awesome.
I would think, and I loved the, like, when you see the design, they're obviously twins.
Yeah.
They both come from Chicago, but one is very, like, Italian mob
Yeah.
Influenced, where the other is more the Irish mob.
That's right.
It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you could totally dig into the history of what the Irish brought into the fashion of Chicago at that time versus the Italian. But so yeah, it could totally
Very cool.
be. I could see, like, seeing a close up of two pairs of shoes and knowing the character difference immediately, even though they are totally different. Which
That's so cool.
so that's I would have loved to dig into one of those shows. Like, yeah,
That's cool.
I wish I'd worked on that. I wish I worked on the Black Panther, another Ruth show.
Oh yeah.
I wished I had done, oddly, another Chadwick Boseman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Film. It's like,
Yeah.
I would have fucking killed to do those again because they're important to the storyline, but there's so much history in that fictional pair of shoes. I would have loved to have been a part of that.
That's so cool.
He's drooling. Do you see it?
Have you? This is just me thinking, because I know you like period pieces and stuff like that, and with it, Toronto. Have you ever worked or done anything for the Murdoch Mysteries? Is that any Canadian?
No, I know a ton of people who
Really,
worked on it, but no, we do so little work in Toronto. It's hilarious.
It's funny, eh? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
little work.
Yeah.
99% of our work happens outside 95% happens outside of Canada. So yeah, it's
That's
really
so
kind
funny.
of funny.
Jitterbug Boy.
Yes,
Tom Waits fan?
yes, very much so.
What
Yeah,
inspired
very,
the name?
Uh, honestly, it dates back to long before the business. It would have been 2000. I started the business 2005. 2002, I was just coming out of a very bad breakup of a relationship of many years. And I decided to do the stereotypical thing of going off to Europe. I've always wanted to go to Europe.
Eat, Pray,
I've
Love?
never been. What's that?
Eat, Pray, Love?
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I took off. I spent
Nice.
3 months touring throughout Europe, which ended up being 2 really difficult months, followed by one really good month. Music is a huge part of my life, like more so than cinema, I would say. I always have to have music going, and it defines so much of my life. On this trip, it was back in like the Sony Walkman, like cassette
Nice.
tape days,
Yeah.
and I had this cassette that somebody had given me that was a bootleg Tom Waits concert. Can't even remember which one it was. Very first song on it was Jitterbug Boy. And he does this little, it's a really funny talk about him going back to school, traffic school, leads into Jitterbug Boy. And my very last morning of that trip, it really was a life-changing trip in good and bad. I was in Amsterdam. It was really early. It was like 4:30 in the morning. I was walking to Central Station and there was nobody else out. And I remember sun was just coming up, fog coming off the canals, and yeah, just realizing how different of a person I was leaving Europe to who I was coming from. Headset on, hit play, Jitterbug Boy off of that bootleg was the first thing to come in this like perfect moment. And
You had your own needle drop.
yeah, it really was. And it
That's
really
awesome.
was that moment of this 3 months has changed my life. And I remember getting back from that trip, going out for dinner with a friend and going, if I ever start a business, I'm calling it Jitterbug Boy because of that moment in life.
Oh, that's
And so
awesome.
3 years later, I did start a business and it was called Jitterbug Boy. And I've always been, I remember the first time I heard Tom Waits was sitting in my grandparents' basement when I was a kid. I grew up in Sarnia. My grandparents, who I was very close with, were in Toronto. So we didn't get city TV in Sarnia, but we did in Toronto and watching whatever the video show was, Toronto Rocks. It may have been Toronto Rocks, and seeing a video of Tom Waits, I Don't Want to Grow Up, and going, I have no idea what the fuck this is, but I am fascinated, and then became a really big Tom Waits fan from that point on. So from like the age of 16 on.
That's awesome.
And then, yeah, his music has always inspired me. Like I take probably more inspiration from music in my creative process than I do in history or past work or whatever.
That's awesome.
So Tom Waits' music has always been a huge thing to me. Named the business after him. Many years later, happened to be working on this little Coen Brothers thing called the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. And it was Mary
Boy.
Zophris as the designer, Linda, who's the supervisor I worked with many times, and we were just doing like, I assume you've seen the film.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we were working on like um, the girl who got spooked, I think it was called. We were doing like Zoe and I'm blanking on the other actor's name, boots for that, and then also doing some of the stunt moccasin work for some of the horse riders, and blah blah blah. And then I got a call saying, "Yeah, we're just wondering if you might have time. We need a pair of boots. We just came out of a fitting with Tom Waits. Would you have time to do boots for him?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yes, in fact.
That's
So
awesome.
it's like, oh, it would be a great help for us. It's like, yeah, for sure. So we ended up doing his prospector boots for, I can't remember what the part was called in that. And then
Did you get to do his fitting?
No, only from afar. Because again, it was like, okay, we need these next week and blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when am I ever going to get the chance to do a pair of boots for Tom Waits? So we made his prospector boots. And then I decided to make a pair of boots for him personally with the lyrics of Jitterbug Boy etched on the leather soles of the shoes.
Oh,
And,
dude.
yeah, and so I made these boots and I just included them in the in with his prospector boots. It's like, do me a favor, can you pass these on to Tom? And then, you know, for what I do, often we have like 10 projects on the go. So
Right.
after we send stuff off, it's in like, oh yeah, got the boots on Tom, he loved them, thank you, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, we're doing all these other projects. And I don't remember what we were working on, but it was a really, really stressful day in the shop. We're running around, and then this envelope comes from Buster Scruggs. I put it on my desk. I figured it was like a check or something. And then, end of the day, sat down to catch my breath, opened this envelope, pulled it out, and it was a photograph. In fact, it's literally right here.
Yeah.
Nope. Sorry, I don't know if you can see it there.
A little more over.
But-
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, so it's a picture of Tom in his costume, wearing the prospector boots, holding the boots with the Jitterbug Boy lyrics in the sole in his lap, smiling, and then it's signed on the side saying, "Thanks, Jeff, Tom." And that was in this envelope. I'm like, I could have never made another pair of shoes after that, and I would have died happy.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
That's unbelievable, man.
that's your Everest.
Yeah, it's like that's your, full
that is
circle
the most-
moments. Aren't you glad you left the farm?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Kind of like Clark Kent.
I was saying,
Yeah.
if I were making your biopic, that would be it's a good thing you left the farm, kid.
Yeah,
It's a
you
good thing you left the
found
farm, kid.
your superpowers back
Yeah.
in the city.
That's right. That's
But
so
it's like-
cool.
Yeah, it was that. It was Aco. Like, those were the defining moments of my
Totally.
career. I love seeing our boots on the poster for Superman or for
Right.
Thor or whatever. But it's like it's the quieter one-on-one connection things that are always going to be the most important things.
Totally. I think that's the universe's way of also just being like, you're on the right track. This is exactly what you need to be doing. You know,
Yeah.
like it's
Keep it up.
Yeah, like that's unreal. That's so
Keep it up,
cool.
Jitterbug. Keep
and
it up.
And again, all starting from the beginning when you got that call saying, "Hey, I know you don't really do shoes, but."
But
And now here you are. Oh man,
Lion
that's
King
awesome.
needs shoes. You should.
That's awesome.
Jeff, your story is like,
Unbelievable.
This is. Thank you so much for spending an afternoon with us two.
Really
groups here.
appreciate it. It was awesome. It was really awesome.
No, it's fun. It's got me hyped about what I do. Like, honestly, because I left the shop yesterday just being exhausted and frustrated and trying to figure out stuff, and now it's like, oh right, actually, what I do is kind of cool.
You're
and I
pretty
do
awesome.
expect that constantly.
Whatever you go back to work on, send us a picture of it, and we'll be like, we helped him. We put a pep in his step. Listener, if you want to find out more about Jitterbug shoes, do you make I think you make custom and bespoke for, like, if I wanted to buy a pair of shoes from you, you'd make me a pair of shoes, right?
No, I just do production. I
Really?
used to a long time ago.
Okay.
But no, the production work is
Enough.
so busy.
Yeah.
And it is always so quick and so short term. I just have devoted myself just to that.
Okay.
Good for you.
When you're doing 40 pairs of shoes for How to Train Your Dragon that are needed like that,
Oh my God.
it's really hard to give the one pair for this
Yeah, that would.
person the amount
Totally.
of attention they should. So I just kind of dropped it, where it's just like the schedule that I need to keep in order to keep up with the flow of the film stuff just doesn't allow any of the
And
individual commissions.
So when Warner Brothers does another costume buy off, and you want to buy a pair of Jeff's shoes, you'll have to buy them through the studio.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Is there anything that you're working on right now that we should be on the watch for? Something that means a lot to you that we could share with the world?
Well, it's all stuff that won't come out for another year.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
So we can revisit it in a year's time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like the new How to Train Your Dragon and God of War and all that, which I can't talk about at all, but
You know
that's
what?
where I'm up to here right now.
Very cool.
I'm going to say it right
Very
now.
cool.
If he's free when it happens, he's basically started the year with us.
Mhm.
Like this is February, and we just did our preview.
Yeah.
I think we should end the year
Yeah.
with all of the movies that his boots have
Hell
been
yeah.
in,
Hell yeah.
and then we'll revisit those movies
Yeah.
and the boots as part of our year-end review.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
And we'll find out if those
Boots in review.
Boots in review. Boots in review. Thank you so much, sir. I will be in touch with you after to get all your information so that we can put it all in here and make sure people know what's going on.
Good.
Me and Charles will take care of the rest of this stuff. Stick
Thanks
around
for
before.
taking interest. It means a lot. So.
Oh, thank you. This was awesome. This was really, really great.
The stories that you have are the stories that we celebrate and love to talk about on the show. We like to know the behind the scenes. We like to know how it's all made.
Next time we're in
I love your
Toronto.
show for that. I love listening to you guys for that because you're obviously passionate, well, probably more passionate for the process than for the final product anyway. And I love people who are as excited as I am for that. And that's why I love your show, is that you obviously really care about not what is made, but how it's made and the stories that come out of that.
Honestly, that's I know it takes a village, and there just isn't enough conversation about the craftsmanship and the blue collar aspect and the different abilities that go into that. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, if Hugh Jackman ever was like, I'll talk to you, I'd be like, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
we all would, but I'm also like, it's not just Hugh, right?
Yeah, like how many people are talking to Hugh, but no one's talking to Jeff, who made his boots. So let's talk to Jeff.
Jeff's is just as important.
That's right.
Listener.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, listener, if you want to know more, everything's, like I said, it's going to be on the show notes. We'll put the list there of everything. We'll probably make a letterbox of everything that Jeff has worked on, and we'll put all those
I
movies.
like that. I like that.
I think
That's
that's
cool.
great. So you
I like
can
that.
watch
That's great.
what it is as
Oh,
well.
I should do that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll make it. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. The boots playlist.
Just show up at the boots. This playlist will make your boots walk.
There you go. There you go.
What's your slogan on your website? It's really punny.
Shoo them if they can't take a joke.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
And that I will totally accredit to the woman who's now my wife. When I first was deciding to make, I was in Toronto between Tokyo and Belgium, and that's when I decided I was going to start a business until it got delayed because of Belgium by a year. But I was like, I need to come up with something. And Angela, right off the top of her head, said, shoo him if you can't take a joke. And
Oh,
that
I
was
love that.
22 years ago, and it stayed. And,
Perfect.
Perfect. Bonus points.
Hey, and next
for-
time we're in Toronto, we'll come by the. We'll
Yeah.
see you on the outside of the studio.
I 100% would love to do that. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
And,
Really appreciate it.
Listener, I've been I've been blown away. What have you been?
I want to buy Superman's boots.
All right. and that's been Jeff Churchill. Watch all the movies, kids, even the bad ones. Pay attention to the boots. Say bye, Jeff.
Bye. Thanks for the
again.
interest. We'll talk again.
Stick around. Wow, that was an episode.
Unbelievable.
Like,
Unbelievable.
We walked right back upstairs, took a minute, came back
We
down.
fangirled.
We
yeah.
fangirled right in front of Shauna for the last hour.
You don't even know, though. He made one for his boots.
And she's just like, yeah,
The Olympics are on.
yeah. I'm watching ice dancing. Why the fuck did you come and
But
ruin
you
my
don't
afternoon?
understand. He was on a farm, and now he's making Superman's boots.
I
He's
really
like
feel
Superman.
that we came upstairs and just bum rushed her afternoon.
was
Now
amazing.
thinking about it,
It was amazing.
it was so good.
We were basically like kids that were like, we love the toys that we're playing with, and we want you to know why.
We hope you enjoyed the stories that we were just told to listener. We're gonna try as much as possible this year to get more of these in front of you. This was a great way to start a year.
So much fun.
The craftsmanship of filmmaking.
Yeah, and like you said, we started the year with this, and this guy has already 8 credits of things that he can't talk about because they're coming out.
Yeah, if you are here with us at the end of the year, a promise will be made right now.
Yes,
that I think we need to call him the week after Boxing Day.
Yeah.
And go through walk through 2026.
Boots and review, man.
Boots and review, baby.
Boots and review.
And that will be a fun bookend to the 2026 year.
I just realized we didn't even bring up kinky boots once with him.
We didn't. I didn't even. I was going to bring up shoes.
Seth.
Like, there's so many things that we could have brought up that I'm so glad that.
Yeah, does he hate Tarantino because he doesn't like shoes?
Right? Does he want to work with Tarantino?
Does he want to work with Tarantino? What shoes would you make him?
Yeah, right?
They got to be Tola.
That was a missed opportunity. I really feel. Jeff Part 2 will have.
Yeah. Oh, he'll be back on. We got to have him back on.
Oh,
sure.
It's definitely a guarantee. If this is your first time, though, like we mentioned, go backwards, listen to a bunch of other ones with other people who we let talk a lot and tell us stories about their adventures in filmmaking, and come to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia Trivia.
That's right.
It's gonna be. It's March 17th. It's $15 and it's on St. Patrick's Day. I can't think of a better way to celebrate a night of drinking than with local podcasters celebrating some of the best idiots on screen.
I fully agree with you, man. It's going to be the best St. Patty's Day party you can have.
These tend to sell out fast. They tend to cause FOMO. We say, don't get the FOMO.
That's right.
Don't hear about a fun trivia night that's also got coloring and cosplay. And, if you've never been to a Real Debaters trivia night, tell them what is so different about what we do, Charles, that not a lot of other people allow to happen. We allow crowd interaction.
Yeah, we want you to. We want you to. We kind of, again, this
I think we subconsciously screw up just to see if we can cause
we treat
commotion.
it like we're all a group of friends hanging out, and how would you be if you were just hanging out trying to play a game or trying to, you know what I mean? Honestly,
it's got a game night feel to it.
Very much so. And and it's
us against them.
And the more, the more you guys are into it, the more we are, and we're just celebrating St. Patty's Day as well as our favorite show. And it's, even just the team names alone usually win the night.
They do. I think we should probably, we realize that stickers are a big thing.
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls fans love stickers.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll start branching.
Oh, yeah. I'm working on some goodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking at Amazon too. I'm looking at Etsy.
People are going to get some cans of cat food. Don't worry. We're going to go all out. We're going to go all out.
Should they be denied? I have 4 cats.
Would you like an egg in these trying times?
It's kind of like, why aren't you wearing the ribbon from Seinfeld?
Yeah, that's right.
There's always a bit. Point is, we'd love to see you there. Get tickets. They sell out when they start getting known. There's we don't have maybe 45, 50 people.
Yeah.
Right? There's not a lot of room. We'll allow standing room if we can afford it.
That's right.
And, if you want a spot, if you want to bring a group, if you want to have a good time, if you want to celebrate something that's not about getting fucking wasted on St. Patty's Day, come have a few, joke around.
That's right.
Laugh with some local idiots and go home, and you're like an adult, and that's more appealing to you. Come on down.
Hell yeah.
$15 a ticket. They're on sale right now.
We'll see you there.
We'll see you there. And thank you for listening to another story from another craftsman, craftsperson, craftswoman, whatever, craft services. We got to get craft services on.
Yeah.
We got it.
They have great stories.
I'm sure. And snacks.
Who's the most what request is the most annoying?
If you're a craft service person, contact therealdebaters@gmail.com.
That's right.
We would love to hear what happens around the crowd.
Hell yeah.
What Twinkies bring about.
You know what? I'll see if I can message my old those were the 2 departments I made sure to befriend right away when I was working on movies was foods and props.
There you go.
Those are the 2. So I'll reach out to some of my see if they're still giving her in it, and we'll get them on.
Listen, subscribe, follow, do whatever you do to support local podcasts. And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye again.
thank you for a very enjoyable game.